Hey, what's up, everybody? Pat here, great for recovering alcoholic and addict, just like every day. Guys, please don't forget to subscribe, leave the video a like, drop me a comment, and by all means, share it with anybody you think might get something out of it. I guess I should check my shirt before I start the video, right? Hey, guys, how is everybody today? Happy Sunday, guys. What an absolutely beautiful day. I get up this morning, slept in a little bit, went to the gym, and I gotta remind myself on these lazy weekends that it's New Year's Eve, New Year's resolution month at the gym. So a lot of people that won't be staying around long, but it's really extra packed, and I gotta get my ass out of bed and go early because it's frustrating. And actually, it wasn't bad today. It was more comical. I did manage to get. I didn't have to wait for any machines. But guys, just a public service announcement: watch your hygiene at the gym. There was a bigger dude working out on the bench press before me, and this guy left an odor of rotten onions that you could smell from about 40 feet away. I mean, the entire gym was gagging. And you know what? And again, I'm sure people knew, left all his weights on the bar, sweat all over the bench, wipe your shit down. So I literally, in front of him, so he saw me do it, went over and disinfected the whole thing, wiped it all down, but I didn't say nothing to him. He got the point. I didn't need to embarrass him. And just a little side note, that's all, guys. Courtesy, courtesy goes a long way. Other than that, went and helped a friend out for a few after that, and I went to church. It was an absolutely beautiful day at church. Great choir music at the church, and I'm incredibly happy, guys. I don't know if it's just the new year, if it's just I'm going to celebrate my 1 year this week, but like I'm always in a good mood. But like I'm happy today. Like I've been laughing and joking, and guys, the timing of these readings cracked me up when I read the title for the reading today. Now let me back up for a second. So as I left church today, I realized that I've been really reaching out and talking to a lot more people in the fellowship lately, and I think that's really cool. A lot of newcomers have been asking for my number. I've been making a lot of good friendships with, people that have been there longer than I have, been in there with me. People I've just been getting to know over the years. So I decided to send out some happy Sunday text to people and just say hi and try to spread some smiles is basically the idea. And as I started doing so, like, it occupied an hour. I'm like, oh my God, I was texting back and forth with like 30 people. I'm like, that's absolutely beautiful. For being the most isolated person in the world to having so many positive relationships where either just being there for each other, sending out encouragement to newcomers, people coming up behind me in the program, and then seeing the appreciation they get that somebody's thinking of them. Guys, that's what makes the fellowship strong, right? That's where the love of the fellowship comes in, and it's just cool. Like it was nothing extravagant, it was nothing crazy. It was just literally an afterthought, or an instant thought. And as I started doing it, I realized I just spent an hour texting all these different people. I'm like, wow, that's really cool. Like I used to talk to nobody. Now I just talked to like 30 different people today, and that's a beautiful thing, guys. Like engaging with the world, and I decided that's going to be one of my resolutions is just to get out of the house more, because I tend to hermit and sit in the house, and I see a lot of people through work, but that basically work, go to meetings, and I don't do a lot of social activities. So that's going to be one of my goals for this year is just get out and enjoy this beautiful life that I'm living more. So anyway, guys, we're going to get into the reading. The love of the fellowship. The love of the fellowship. Today, secure in the love of the fellowship, we can finally look another human being in the eye and be grateful for who we are. When we were using, few of us could tolerate looking somebody in the eye. We were ashamed of who we were. Our minds were not occupied with anything decent or healthy, and we knew it. Our time, money, and energy weren't spent building loving relationships, sharing with others, or seeking to better our communities. We were trapped in a spiral of obsession and compulsion that went only one direction, downward. Well, in recovery, our journey down that spiral path has been cut short. But what is it that has turned us around, drawing us back upwards into the open space of the wide, free world? Well, the love of the fellowship has done this. In the company of other addicts, we knew we would not be rejected. By the example of other recovering addicts, we were shown how to begin taking a positive part in life around us. When we were unsure which way to turn, when we stumbled, or when we had to correct a wrong we'd done, We knew we had the fellowship to encourage there to encourage us. Slowly, we've gotten the feel of our freedom. No longer are we locked up in our disease. We are free to build and grow and share along with everybody else. And when we need support to take our next step, it is right there. The security we found in the love of the fellowship has made our new lives possible. And then the affirmation is just for today. I can look anyone in the eye without shame. I am grateful for the loving support that makes this possible. And guys, again, shocking how true these readings are, right? And it blew my mind that after just like the joy of just talking to so many different people, like reaching out and encouraging others, letting them know, thinking about them, and just then when I realized that how far the phone list that I not even because I've got a phone list, it's 8 pages long, but the recent text and calls list of the people that I've been regularly keeping in touch with has gotten to be so much bigger. That's just like a good feeling. Like, never mind the fact that I got my family in my life every day, and I got, my buddy Doug reaches out, and people I work with reach out because they become friends. Like, that was not my life before, guys. I was so incredibly isolated. I spoke to drug dealers and my boss and coworkers. Like, that was it. Like, and there was no life. There was no life to live. Today I gotta, no, I'm not even gonna go there. Good. I love my life today. I would say there are people that, not because they're not. That's not even the case. It's nobody. I'm gonna keep you the fellowship. Like, I love encouraging people, and you know what, guys, I correspond with a lot of people from a lot of different walks of life. People that I probably hadn't, if I hadn't met in the I'm not gonna say probably, if I hadn't met in the fellowship, we would have never had a chance to stop and talk. I mean, I'm texting with guys that are 17, 18, or 18, 19 years old, and people that are in their late 70s, and everything in between. And that's the beauty of the fellowship. And it's not about character assassination or, oh, I'm not good enough to talk to them, or I'm too good to talk to them. No, we all meet on this beautiful even keel, and we're just there to encourage each other. And not everybody almost nobody I was in reaching out today was struggling. Everybody seemed to be having a pretty good day, but it's just the camaraderie of just, hey, you know what? Because when I get those calls and texts, and I do all the time, it feels good to know that somebody's thinking of me, or somebody thinks highly enough of me to reach out and ask for a lifeline when they're struggling. That's not something I was looked at before, guys. No, if you were going down, either you were calling me to go down with you because you didn't want to go down alone, or no, that was pretty much it. But no, people reach out today because they want to know what it is that I do when I'm having a tough day, and more so because, again, one of my favorite responses I got today when I reached out and let a friend of mine know, hey, in case you forgot today, you're awesome. Like, just being nice, because she is. And she came back with, I think you're the most positive person I've ever known. I'm like, that's my superpower. Right? But guys, you know what? I was never known like, I was always pretty upbeat. But, like, I've been called a lot of things over the years. And the most positive person somebody's known, I like that. Like, I'm cool with that, guys. I like the roles that I get to play today. Because we do get to pick and choose, right? And I've chosen to be an upbeat, encouraging person who's trying to live by example, trying to be just very thoroughly and honestly myself, because you know what? I love the person that I am today. Again, biggest first concern when I was walking into rehab, and I know I said this a lot, guys, but this is a God-given miracle. Like, there's a reason I talk about these things, because when you're living them and you feel the manifestation of that miraculous change, it's beautiful, guys. Like, talk about, you want evidence of your higher power's work in your life. Like, this is the evidence of your higher power's work in your life. Walking into rehab, guys, I was so lost. I was so confused. I was so devastated. I was so just demoralized and just in such a bad place. And one of the things that kept coming to me is like, I don't know who the fuck I am. I don't know what I believe in. I don't know what do I want to do? What are my hopes? I had no hope. I mean, I had a little bit of hope because I was reaching out to God, so clearly I did, because I hadn't given up. But I didn't see, like, any value. I didn't see anything good, and the reality of it is I hadn't stopped to consider my own needs, desires, wants, or anything else for so long that I had no idea what they were, and that terrified me. It bothered me. Like, I realized there was just this massive hole in my soul. a God-sized hole in my soul that I'd been trying to fill with drugs for so long. And all it was doing was making the hole bigger because I was getting further and further disconnected from God, my higher power. And I was bad. But guys, you gotta understand, all it takes is that's why they say a mustard seed of faith. All it took for me was that one prayer, that one time speaking honestly and just saying, God, I'm lost, I'm hopeless, I'm in despair, I'm in the dark. Please let me walk in your life and in your light. Show me your path for me. And immediately he did. Like, that is a miracle, guys. And again, keep in mind, I'm not somebody that was this faithful, reverence-given person for the better part of 30 years. And as much as it shames me, again, nothing shames me. I've let it all go. The truth is the truth. I considered myself an atheist because I couldn't believe, because I could not acknowledge my belief and live the way that I was living. So I chose to just deny. And I didn't, again, my superpower at that point was to not look at things and come up with a rational answer. I could fool myself, and that's what I had to do. Lie and cheat and steal myself. And that's the thing, guys. All the time I'd like, oh, it's better if I don't connect with my family because that way I'm not lying and cheating and stealing from them. No, I'm just depriving them of their family member, depriving myself of my family. Like, all these things I thought I did to make me, the best person I could be at the moment given the circumstances, and that's a shitty thing. Didn't work. Like, they weren't any. I mean, and yeah, granted, I'm glad I wasn't stealing from my family. Not to say that I wasn't stealing from somebody, because I was stealing from stores, and I'd stolen from my best friend Doug at times, but I didn't make it my baseline, my hustle, because I'm just not a good thief, guys. At the end of the day, there's a reason I've been sentenced to prison 15 times. I'm not real good at getting away with shit. That's God's honest truth. Like, if I was some master thief, I'd have probably been out there doing it, because it wasn't my moral compass that kept me from being a thief. It just wasn't my makeup. Like, it was better and easy. Well, not even better. It was just even. Well, of course, it was better, but it was just easier for me to work because that's the way that I'm wired. I've been a worker. I got my first job when I was 8 years old. At 8 years old, I had 3 paper routes. I had like 120 customers, right? I started working in a restaurant when I was 9. At 10 years old, I had a job in a restaurant. I had a paper route, and I was selling Christmas trees and then landscaping. Like, I was always a worker. And mostly because my family life was just shit. My father was an alcoholic. I don't blame him for anything. I've forgiven him, and that needs to be done. But due to a whole lot of circumstances that I did not understand at the time, him and I butted heads. He saw potential in me. I guess I had this crazy potential that I understand now, but at the time, he didn't understand that I didn't know that, and he would just come down on me for not applying myself, and therefore I just thought I was, he's telling me I'm a piece of shit and I'm worthless, so that's how I felt. Well, the minute I got out of my house and got into neutral third parties work, I excel at working. I'm very good with mechanical things. I'm intelligent, so I would thrive in a work situation. So all of a sudden, from being this kid that thought he was just the biggest fuck up on earth and a complete piece of shit and didn't know how to apply himself, I start working and I'm getting accolades. I'm getting people that are like, wow, like, that's really impressive what you're capable of. So of course I dove into it because it at least made me feel good. But the problem is, guys, I didn't have any kind of balance in my life. I didn't have any proper authority showing me how to be an adult. And I turned and I fell into the wrong crowd because I, was one of the, Medway was kind of a ritzy town, and we weren't showy because my father was a drunk, and I got picked on a lot, and I was angry, and then I learned to fight, and then I found 2 things. I found 3 things. I found work, I found drugs, and I found fighting. So now, instead of getting picked on, I was beating the shit out of the people that picked on me and getting arrested for it because I'm an extremist. I do everything to stupid levels. I never had any sense of control over anything in my life, including myself, mostly myself. I would throw myself into work and not do schoolwork and not do this and not do that, not do play sports, not go out with friends. Like, I was always an extremist. I workaholic, fighting to the point where I'm getting arrested 27 times before I graduated high school. And doing and dealing drugs from the time I was in 8th grade on, and then wondering why, and then blaming the police for the fact that I'm getting arrested 27 times. Oh, it's the cops. No, it's the fact that I'm running around acting like I'm a fucking gangster in a small town, and wondering why everybody knows my name. Like, these are the realities of things, guys. But I didn't know that at the time, and I didn't look at it, and I didn't acknowledge it, right? And then I just continued. Not only that, but then I just continued to compound, because now, for by the time I was 18 years old, I had all these problems, I record, and instead of ever just stopping and correcting my behavior, I just kept finding ways to take my self-will and bully my way around things to get to whatever one little result I wanted, at the detriment to everything else in my life. And you wonder why my detachment game is so strong. Well, it's because I lived a lifestyle for 25 years that in any given moment, and it happened very often, all it took was one blue light behind me, and I may not make it back to this town ever again. I may never see any of my possessions again. I may never, like, literally, I would get locked up for a year, 6 months, 9 months, 18 months, and, all the time. And it's not because I showed up at court and planned for these things. No, I didn't show up at court. I didn't have respect for the law. I didn't have respect for the courthouses. I didn't respect myself. I'd get picked up on warrants, and if I couldn't talk my way out of it, I'd get locked up, and that was it, and I'd just lose everything. And that's how I lived my life for so long. And yet I chose to try to be an outwardly good person as best I could, because I didn't like to be a dirtbag. Those two don't really work, do they? You wonder why I was doing drugs and medicating myself, right? But again, when I finally got to a point where I was beaten into submission, willing, given the gift of desperation, and found the willingness to invite God into my heart. Because here's the thing, guys, a couple of times throughout my life where I had some really bad, scary, like when you're 19 years old and you're looking at jail time for the first time, that's some scary shit, right? I would pray, God, make this go away, and the next day the cops would kick because I had warrants out, and the next day cops kicked my door and locked me up, and I'm like, whoa. And I thought about it. I'm like, well, I did pray to make this go away, and the only way it's going away is if I go deal with it. And I couldn't have the balls to go turn myself in, so God did exactly what I asked for. Yet I'm an atheist, and I don't believe, right? So what I would do is I would try to keep my head low and not acknowledge God, but good, that's faith. That's faith. That's the belief in God, as I'm saying I don't believe in it, yet I'm terrified of it, and I'm trying to avoid it. That's faith, guys. That's belief. I had it all along. I just never knew how to get on the right side of it. All it took was getting down on my knees and asking God to help me, and then paying attention to the help that was coming my way, accepting it, being thankful for it, and then involving myself, right? God gave me this fellowship. Again, I've talked about this so many times. I was going to do my IOP. I was going to do the OBAC clinic. So I was bought into what I thought I needed at that point. But then, like the last month of rehab, no AA or NA groups happened to show up. For like the last 2 weeks, nobody had shown up. The last one we'd seen was Christmas Eve, on Christmas night, rather. So I wasn't thinking AA, because again, I was only able to process what was in front of me. That's literally how much I was letting go of everything, because I knew I was so wrong. I couldn't put my own spin on anything, because I knew I'd screw it up, so I had to do with what was in front of me. And I didn't have any AA or NA guidelines for those last couple of weeks as I was making my plans. And again, guys, it's pretty sad to say, as much as I know the program's in, I've been a part of it before, at that point, I was so feeble, I could not think anything beyond of what was there, because I knew I couldn't, because if I did, I'd screw it up. So the night I get out, I come home, and I'm going to wait till Tuesday to get hooked up in my Riverside, but I went to my OBAC clinic and got my Suboxone to get me the Sublocade, and I slipped, and went out and found a way to be of service, and again, boom, it came to me like a ton of bricks, because I was praying and paying attention. I needed the fellowship. I needed to surround myself, because I couldn't do it isolated. One of the biggest problems. So I knew I was giving up everything in my old life. Okay, God, I'll walk away from everything and everybody that has anything to do with my former life, drugs, in any way, shape, or form. Well, that left this massive hole in my life that I wasn't planning on filling. I was going to fall back to my own comfort zone and just be isolated and, work and come home, and God knows that is not a life, and that would not keep me sober. So God gave me the idea for the YouTube channel, and He gave me the idea to go out and be of service. And as soon as I knew Soon as that be of service hit me, I knew immediately that I had to find a home group, find a recovery network, and be of service to that recovery network. So now I did so the next day. God, this is getting long, guys. I'm sorry. I'll wrap this up. So the next day, I went and found my AA meeting. As you guys know, I talk about all the time, and anybody watching, love all of you so much. And I found ways to be of service to that fellowship. Now I reach out. I raise my hand for newcomers. I can meet with them after the meeting. The next meeting I go to, guys, because I don't think I'll make one tomorrow or Monday or Tuesday. The next meeting I go to, I get to raise my hand to show the program works if you get a year or more. Like, that's the biggest thing for my year, guys. Yes, I can't wait to put the chip with the rest of them there, but it's that raising my hand to show the program works. It's the big reward, okay? And I get to next time, and it's all because I've joined the fellowship. I've become a part of it. I've found love for the fellowship, and I've received so much love from the fellowship. Guys, that's a video for today. Thank you so much for being here with me. Always remember, God loves you. I love you. We'll see you in the next one.